Hi everyone, welcome to our COA group project presentation video. So in this project, we test and compare the performance of different laptops using tools like CPU-Z, Geekbench, Task Manager, Minitool, and even a custom stress test we wrote in assembly. So this is our group members. My name is Murif Bahro. I work on the benchmarks and coded the ASM stress test. And this is Rafi. He helped run the test and summarize the result. And then there's Najmuddin, which handled the ASM benchmarking and helped with the video editing. And last but not least, Daniel, that helped mostly with testing, analysis, and presentation slides. Here is what we cover in this video. First, we will give a quick background on why we did this project, and then we will walk you through how we ran the test. And after that, we will compare the result and highlight the differences between the laptops. And finally, we will share our reflections and what we learned from the whole process. So as for the problem background, these days when people buy laptops, they usually just look at the specs, like the processor or how much RAM it has, but that doesn't always show how well the laptop will actually perform. So, for example, like two laptops might have the same i5 label, but one could run games or editing software much better than the other. So, in this project, we wanted to test that. Instead of relying on specs alone, we ran real benchmarks and stress tests to see how each laptop performs in actual tasks. And this way, we can understand the true performance and help the users make smarter choices and not just trust what the label says. So, the main aim of our project is to test and compare how different laptops perform using benchmarking tools. We want to help users see the actual speed differences in real world use and not just what's written on the box. So this is the objective. First, we measure CPU and hardware performance using tools like CPU-Z and Geekbench. And then we create our own assembly program to stress test the processor. We compare the result from different laptops and try to understand how the specs actually affect the real world performance. And finally, we make sure to present everything in a way that's easy to understand, even for non-technical users. So as for the scope, in our test, we focus on three main things. First, the CPU, including the model, number of cores, and clock speed. And then the RAM, the size and type like DDR4 or LPDDR5. And last one is storage, whether it's an SSD or HDD and how fast it reads and writes data. So next we will move to benchmarking execution, which will be explained by Rafi.
So here we add benchmarking execution for CPU Z. As you can see here, this for laptop A, B and C with different Intel core. For laptop A is AMD Ryzen 5 and laptop B and C both are Intel Core i5 but different generation. So for the A, it has 4 core and 8 timing. For laptop B also the same, but laptop C has 2 performance and 8 efficiency. And for the base clock, as you can see here, laptop C has the highest base clock here, and L3 cache. Also, laptop C has the highest. And for the RAM, as you can see here also, 20 gig RAM is for laptop B, and is the highest RAM gig for both of the laptop. Move next for the benchmarking execution for the Geekbench C. We also have the three laptop, the same laptop we compare for the single score. Laptop C has the highest single core score. For the multi score, laptop C has the highest also. And the frequency best match, the match for the frequency for the three laptop, the highest is laptop A with the 2.8 and 3.470. But for the laptop B and C, for the highest is for the max for the laptop C 4.389, but low at the base frequency. As you can see here, laptop C has the lowest frequency base as 1.30. Next, we go to the benchmarking using the task manager. Here, we run different app with the same app for the three laptop. For the low load, we run the Microsoft Word and Task Manager. So this is the result for the laptop A. At the low load, CPU is 4, and same for the 3 laptop, we run Microsoft Word. But the highest CPU usage is for laptop B, and the lowest is laptop A. For the memory consuming, the highest used by laptop C. For the medium load, we use to open Microsoft Word, Task Manager, and also Microsoft Edge. The highest CPU usage for laptop B, and the lowest for the laptop A and C has the same CPU usage. For the memory, laptop C use the most memory at this state. For the high load, we open the Task Manager, Google Edge, and Roblox as for the high load. So for CPU usage, laptop B use the most CPU usage, 72%. For the memory, the lowest memory usage is laptop C. Next, we go to the benchmarking execution for the mini tool. For the sequential for laptop A, for the write and read, the highest write is for laptop B, and for the read, the highest is for laptop B also, and the lowest for the write is laptop A. Also for the read is laptop A for the lowest. And for the random, laptop A has the lowest for write and read has the lowest random minute. For laptop C, it has the highest write data, and for the read, the highest minute is for laptop B. Next, we go to my friend.
So as we can see here, the part of ASM code running time, we can see laptop D with Intel Core i7-10510U. We use the number of loop 50, 100, 20, 500, 700, and 1000. So as we can see, the capture before and after and the difference. So we go through to the 50 loop. We can see here the number is 64, 634, 456, and 64, 639, 119. We can see the difference only 4000. Then we go through to the 100. We can see the difference increase to 9313. Then in of 200, it increased to 18,721. And then the more loop, the more the difference. So we can see until the 1000, we can see the difference. We get 93,299. So next.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Daniel Iman Hakim Ibn Yusuf, and I'm here to talk about comparison and discussion on on all of the laptops that we have done the benchmarking on. The one that we done for CPU Z, Mini Tool, Geekbench, and I believe what am I missing? Yeah, Task Manager, as well as the ASM code stress test, the custom one that we did. So right off the bat, we're just gonna talk about CPU performance. Laptop C scored highest in Geekbench multi-core. This means, it just has the highest CPU performance. It's good at, performing tasks. Meanwhile, laptop B has strong single core performance. Laptop A, however, was most efficient, but scored lower, the most lowest overall. Moving straight up to memory and RAM usage, we have laptop B that allowed better multitasking, max 61% usage of their memory. Laptop C caused high memory usage, 84% under load. That means it has the memory usage isn't very optimal. And for laptop A, power efficient but still limited for multitasking. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. All right, the next comparison, this performance, we got this from Minitool. So yeah, laptop C has the fastest write speeds, 2,349 megabytes per second, and run random writes. Yeah, and then we move on to laptop B. It let in sequential read speed, and then we move on to laptop A, which performed sadly the for both tests in sequential and random. They lagged in both because of older SSD technology, likely. And for the last one, ASM benchmarking, custom assembly tests showed increasing execution time with loop count, and it helps simulate real CPU workload handling using delays. And here we see an example of the mini tool this performance comparison. You can see that, as I said earlier, laptop A performed the worst out of all three. And we finally come to the comparison section where we just compare the full comparison of all computers. So starting with computer A is power efficient and has a modern RAM. However, it has the lowest overall performance. TLDR, it's just suitable for basic tasks and light usage. Meanwhile, for computer B, large RAM, strong single core. However, high CPU usage at idle, meaning like you're not doing anything on your laptop, it's still running in the background, working hard. So it's not going to have really much of a long lifespan. For just computer B, it's suitable for productivity and multitasking. Last but not least, computer C. Computer C has a hybrid CPU, fastest disk, and balanced performance. However, the RAM limits multitasking. The LDRs, computer C is just suitable for creative stuff, coding, virtualization, gaming, all that stuff. That's basically the conclusion and the comparison of all the benchmarkings that we've done to all these computers. And I'm just gonna pass this to the next person who's gonna do conclusion.
So, in conclusion, we know that laptop A showed the lowest overall performance but remained efficiency for basic tests. Laptop B delivered the best all-around result with strong CPU, fast storage, and excellent multitasking. Then, our laptop C offered great CPU and disk speed but was limited by its lower RAM. Overall, laptop B was the most balanced performer, while laptop C was fast but memory constrained and laptop A sweet like use.
So that's all for our presentation. But before we end this video, we will share our thoughts on this project from our perspective. I will go first. So throughout this project, I learned a lot about how computer hardware really affects the performance of a computer. Before this, I usually just look at specs like i5 or 8 GB RAM and without really knowing what they mean. But by doing the hands-on benchmarking and writing our own stress test in assembly, now I understand how this like clock speed, RAM, and storage affects everyday use. It was also fun comparing our laptops and seeing their strengths and weaknesses. And from there, I gained a new knowledge in system architecture and what makes a PC good for different tasks. This project also taught me how to analyze data and work effectively in a team. So overall, it was a challenging but good experience.
Hi, here is my reflection for our project. Basically, I feel very thankful to our teammate. They're very helpful, very supportive, and they help me to guide how to do the task and everything. So basically, I want to thankful to all of them, to Munif, Daniel, and Najmuddin. Thank you. And for the project itself, for my vision, I can see very well and how to benchmark our laptop and how to see which laptop that is useful and their performance and what is really into just like for my laptop and for the laptop B, I have the most RAM and now I know that my laptop compatible to run any big software. So and if I don't learn about this benchmarking, I don't know what my laptop performance is. So also for this project, it also teach me how to know what laptop, which laptop to be used as the task that has been given. So me, as for the future programmer, I think this laptop is pretty good for our coding. So basically, for the performance, as I compare for the other laptop, this for best for my coding and the future coding work. So that's all for my reflection.
So for my reflection, I think we work equally for each task and we can think how to solve the hard problem together through discussion and code review. I also learned the new coding techniques and better teamwork, and I realized that the importance of communication and the tools like we use like Microsoft Visual Studio 2010. So I gain more experience, I can improve my coding skill, and I love to co- collaborate with them. Thank you. That's all from me.
And it is now my turn for the reflection. What I learned from this project, I never knew on how exactly to actually see the capabilities of my own PC, because usually when I start to play games, I see what the game is, like what the game's limits are, but like I never actually thought of like, hey, what's my PC actually capable of? So this is a great mind opener, and yeah, more knowledge, more. Now I know that my PC is actually good, as in yeah, for performance. And yeah, that's pretty neat. And I think I'll be using this information more in the future. In terms of working on the project, I'm pretty happy. I'm glad to have worked together with Munif, Rafik, and Nach. They're really nice. Very cooperative. Other than that, most of everything has been really has gone smoothly, and I'm glad to have been in this project. And that will be all from us. And thank you.